Hello guys, today we will be reviewing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And yes, I know that it's been a while since I've done a video, but honestly I just started a new job and I've been very busy, but I really want to start doing reviews again. So yes, without anything left to say, let's start with the positives. Okay, so my first positive is Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and I've got to be honest, when the movie started and he started making like stupid jokes, which we're going to talk about later, I was really scared that they were going to do a Thor Waititi to him, that they were going to make him a joke throughout the whole movie. But really, one of the scenes that I liked the most, and not really because it was spectacular or anything like that, but mainly because it put those fears to rest, was the scene in which he said that he wanted to reveal Atlantis to the world, and all of the other kingdoms said that they were against the idea. It was a very simple and honestly quite predictable, but honestly I really liked this scene because it showed that this Aquaman was more serious than what I was expecting, and he seemed to be more like comic book Aquaman, so I really liked that scene. Also, something that I didn't expect to like was Arthur's and Orm's relationship. I honestly thought that it was a very bad idea, but mainly because when I heard that they were going to do like a buddy movie comedy, I was expecting like stupid jokes and really something that wasn't serious. Not that Aquaman is serious, of course, but you know, like that they were going to take seriously Aquaman, and that fortunately wasn't what happened. And I honestly think that the movie improved a lot when Orm came to the movie. So yeah, but we'll talk a little bit more about the things that I didn't like in the negatives. But yeah, I really enjoyed Aquaman as a character, and I also really liked the relationship that he had with his brother. Way more than I thought, because honestly I thought that it was going to suck, but it was great. Oh, and also, although I really like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, I'm really excited for his possible future as Lobo. And there was this one scene which he was on a motorbike, in which you can't tell me that he wasn't playing Lobo, because he was in the motorbike, he was like drifting, and he was like having a lot of fun. I mean, he looked like Lobo. The only thing that he was missing was the makeup. He was playing Lobo in that scene. So yeah, I hope that James Gunn, and I think that he will, cast him as Lobo. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Another thing that I really enjoyed is related to a scene that I hated, which was the beginning scene, which I mean, I didn't really hate because of the kid, of course, but more because of the pissing joke. We'll talk about it later. Basically, I didn't like it because it was too immature. But one aspect I really liked about that scene is that you can see that the kid can talk to fish, which comes handy later when he contacts his father that way. And I really liked how they set up the scene. Something that I also really enjoyed, which makes a lot of sense because he's great, was James Gunn's directing. I really like his camera work and how dynamic the camera is, and I also like the reference that he has. Like for example, the fact that the henchmen are wearing suits that are a reference to Planet of the Vampires, which is a movie that influenced a lot of other movies, like for example Alien or The Pirate Heaven, which basically is the Star Wars cantina, and it even has its own Jabba the Hutt. Oh, and of course, one of the things that I liked the most, even if I maybe didn't really enjoy the character, was the villain. The way that James Wan portrayed the villain as a kind of a stop-motion creature was great. And I also really liked his backstory, which seemed very similar to a Lord of the Rings type story. Something that also surprised me was that Mera, and we're not going to get into the drama between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, but something that really surprised me was that Mera had a bigger role than I expected. But I think that the biggest positive of this movie is that it made me want to rewatch the first one, which I really haven't even thought about the first one in a very long time. So the fact that this movie made me want to revisit the other movie, I think it is a great testament to its quality. So even if we're going to talk about a lot of negatives now, just know that the fact that this movie made me want to revisit the other one means that it has succeeded in a way as a sequel. So yeah, now we're going to talk about the negatives. So yeah, so we talked about the positives, now we're going to talk about the negatives. And I kind of alluded to my first negative, but I'm going to talk more about it now, which is the humor. Especially at first, because it had like a lot of low-hanging humor. I mean, I think that the first joke was when the baby started pissing Jason Momoa in the face. And I don't really know how long the scene was, but for me it felt eternal, it felt super long. So yeah, that was the moment in which I became very concerned about the quality of the film. And I mean, to be fair, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be, but it has like low-hanging humor. Like for example, there is this one scene with a cockroach that, to be honest, wasn't as bad as I expected, because they kind of build up on the jokes and it ended up being kind of enjoyable. But at first, the cockroach and the humor was very hit or miss. Talking about hit or miss, if you love MCU humor, you're going to really like the character that was portrayed by the same actor who plays Jimmy Woo in the MCU, ironically enough, because that character was basically an MCU character. And I'm not talking about like an Ant-Man or anything like that. I'm talking about the same type of humor that maybe Kat Dennings' character in Thor would have. I'm going to be clear. What I mean is that when something weird happens, that they point it out and they say like, hey, did that just happen? If you like that type of humor, you're going to really enjoy this character. But if you don't, you're going to be really annoyed by him. Oh, but the thing that I hated the most about the movie, and honestly, these other negatives are kind of nitpicks because I don't really feel that strongly about them. They are like negatives, they are like things that annoyed me, but they didn't like make me angry. The one thing that made me angry, and maybe it was because I didn't know this, was that they killed Pulko's character off screen. The character of Willem Dafoe off screen. If you don't know me, you maybe don't know that I love Willem Dafoe. And maybe this was because Willem Dafoe couldn't appear in the film for whatever reason, or maybe he didn't want to. But the fact that they killed his character off screen, immediately like, this is for sure the biggest negative that I have with the film, because I wanted to see more of him. So yeah, and I don't know, maybe they could have come up with a different excuse for him not showing up. But yeah, the fact that they killed him off screen was really annoying. Also, something that I didn't really enjoy about the movie is that it was really predictable. Which I mean, if you go into the movie expecting it to be predictable, I guess that's great. I kind of did, to be honest. But if you want something more, you maybe end up being a little bit disappointed. But yeah, and to end with the negatives, there is one scene that I hated because it felt really off, which was when Mera, for no reason, killed Jimmy Woo's character, and yes, I'm going to call him Jimmy Woo's character, in the cheek for no reason. Like those bad romantic comedies in which the good guys win and for no reason the person that they are interested in kisses them. Felt really off. And something that and this might be a little bit controversial, something that I didn't really like was the music. I mean, I like the songs, but they are the same cliched songs that you've heard 1,000 times. So yeah, they came off as a little bit corny. But yeah, those are my negatives. Well, so that was my review of Aquaman 2, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and if you have any recommendation for another movie or even a series or anime or whatever, put it in the comments. That helps me a lot. Also, I left here another video that I think that you will enjoy a lot. So yeah, sorry, because like I said before, I haven't been making videos because I've been very busy with a new job, but I'm going to try to at least make a new video each week. So yeah, like it, subscribe, watch the other video, and until the next time.